Good afternoon, fellow viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. We thank God that today is Friday. Today we want to talk about a new topic, which is decimal fraction. Decimal fraction. A decimal fraction is simply a number that is having a decimal point. So example, if I have 0.546 is a decimal fraction. 423.3244 is also a decimal fraction. So today our discussion is on decimal fraction. But we want to start from how to change a decimal fraction to common fraction. That is the first thing that we want to talk about. So changing decimals to common fraction. Decimals is the same as decimal fractions. So decimal fraction, we want to look at how to change it into common fraction. Now when you take the first example, we have to change 0.7. As I said earlier on, a number with point shows that it is in the decimal form. So if you want to change 0.7 into decimals, what are we going to ask ourselves? Now, the first number after the decimal point is over 10. The first number after the decimal point. So if you look at this, 0.7. The first number here, it is 10. So to change it into decimal, into common fraction, I'm going to get 7 over 10. Why 7 over 10? Because the decimal 7 here, the number 7 here, its place value is 10 or 10 with a th. So the place of this 7 is 10. Therefore, changing it into decimal into common fraction is going to give me 7 over 10. Then when you come to number 2, we have 0.0025. Now when you are reading a decimal fraction, the numbers on your left, that is the numbers before the decimal point, are whole numbers. All the numbers before the decimal points are whole numbers. So this one like this, we have no whole number. So we have 0 as our whole number, point. Now the numbers after the decimal point, we read them one after the other. So 0.0025. Now how can I change this into a decimal, into a common fraction? Sorry, it is already in decimal. So how can I change it into common fraction? To change this into common fraction, we are going to count the numbers after the decimal point. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 numbers. So to change this in common fraction, we are going to consider the place values of these decimals. So after the first point here, after the first number, or after the decimal point, the first number is 10. 10 with a th. The second number is 100 with a th. So this is 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. So to change this into common fraction, I'm going to write 25 over 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000. So over 10,000. Changing this into common fraction. Now when you look at this number, I can simplify. So because I can simplify, I have to simplify to its lowest 10. When you look at the numerator and the denominator, the number that can divide both is 5. So 5 will divide 25 5 times. And 5 will divide 10 2 times. So with this, I have 5 over 200. Sorry, 2,000. When you look at this again, 5 can still divide it. So I'm going to say 5 here 1, 5 here 4. So this is going to give me 1 over 400. Since we are changing into common fraction, and this is in its lowest form, then this is what we are going to get. Or somebody will choose and say 25 will go into 100 4 times. So if 25 will go into 100 4 times, I'm going to have 400 as my answer. So this into 8 common fraction is going to give us 1 over 400. When you come to the number 3 too, we have to change 0.08 to common fraction. So I have 0.08. I told you that after the decimal point, we mentioned the numbers one after the other. So with this one, when you look at where the point is, after the decimal point, the first number takes the 10th position. So we have 10th, 100th, because it ends on 100. That is 100 with a TH, 100th. I am going to write this as 8 or 08 over 100. And 08, we all know that is the same as 8. So 8 over 100. So therefore, what do I do? Look at the given fraction now. 8 over 100. Can we simplify? If yes, then you go ahead with the simplification. So when you look at this, which number can go into the numerator and at the same time go into the denominator? 2 or 4. So let's say I want to use 4. 4 can go into 8 and 4 can also go into 100. So 4 times what will give me 8? 4 times 2. So it means 4 will go into 8 2 times. And 4 will go into 100 25 times. So simplifying this is going to give me 2 over 25. Because I can't simplify, I'll leave my answer there, like that. So I'll be able to change this into common fraction. Now when you come to the second one, fourth one, we have 3.7. 3.7. When I started, I told you that the numbers on your left are whole numbers, and the ones on your right are the decimals. So this 3 points, the 3 here is a whole number, which will give me 3 whole number. Then the 0.7 is a decimal, which is 10. So 3 whole number, 7 over 10. But because this is in its mixed fractional form, we can leave it like that. Because if you try to change it, you are going to get improper fraction. So we are going to leave our answer like that. And also, we can't cancel out 7 over 10. We are going to leave it like that. And when you come to number 5, we have 0.5. So this is 0. The number after the decimal point is 10. So 5 over 10. If we can simplify, we go ahead and simplify. So we can say 5 here 1, 5 into 10, 2. And this will give us 1 over 2. For the changing of decimals to common fraction. Then we have the last one here. 0.31. After the decimal point, we don't mention the numbers. We just read them one after the other. So 0. Not 31, but 0.31. So with this is 10th, 100th. So because I ended on 100, this is going to give me 31 over 100. Now when you look at this, 31 over 100, I cannot simplify or leave it into its simplest form because apart from 1, there is no number that can divide both. So we leave our answer like this. So when it comes to the first part, changing of decimals to common fraction, we have to follow this simple format or principle in order to get it correct. Now the next decimal that we want to look at is recurring decimals. How to change recurring decimals into common fraction. When we say recurring decimals, what are recurring decimals? Recurring decimals are the decimals that repeat itself. That is after the decimal point. So when you look at this, we have 3.22222. 3 dots here. It shows that 2 continuous forever. So because the 2 continuous forever, we call these types of decimal recurring decimals. So how can we therefore change this into common fraction? Now, to change this into common fraction, this is what the question gave us. So we are going to say, let a variable represent this. Any variable at all. So let's say, let R be equal to what we have been given. 3.222222. Now remember, the 2 repeats itself forever. Good. Now, after letting R to represent this number, look at the first number after the decimal point. It is 2. So because this 2 is the one that repeats itself continuously, we are going to bring the 2 to this place, which is the whole number column. But the place of this 2 is 10. So because the place of this 2 is 10, after bringing the 2 here, giving us 32.222222. Remember, the 2 repeats itself forever. So after bringing the 2 here, giving us 32.222222, we are going to say that let 10R be equal to this. Why 10R? 10R because the 2 that we brought here, its place is 10. We brought only these 2 because it is only 2 that repeats itself. So we are going to say let 10R represent 32 points. Now, after doing this simple expression or equation, we are just going to subtract the smaller digit from the bigger digit. So when you look at your left hand side, R is less than 10R. So we are going to take R from 10R. And this one too, we take this one out of this one. So what are we going to get? We are going to say 10R minus R is equal to 32.222222 minus 3.222222. The same idea that we have here, just that after doing this, represent 10R, then you subtract the smaller from the bigger number. Now let's do the subtraction here. Because there is no number in front of the 1, there is an invisible 1 there. So 10 minus 1 is going to give us 9R. Or 10R minus R is going to give us 9R. Which is equal to. Now, if you subtract this digit, ones under ones, tens under tens, decimals under decimals, we are going to get 29 out of it. Subtracting this number from this, you can work it out and verify. We are going to get 29 after subtracting 3.222 from 32.222, because at the end of the day, 2 minus 2 is 0, minus 2 is 0, then 2 minus 3 we borrow, then we are going to get 29. Now after getting this, we want R, so we are going to divide this side by 9 and divide this side also by 9. So 9 will cancel 9. Then finally we have 29 over 9. If you look at this one, there is no number that can divide this. So you change it into mixed fraction because this is improper fraction. So changing 29 into improper fraction, we are into mixed fraction, we are going to get 3 because 9 will go into 27, 29 3 times. Remainder 2 out of 9. So the common fraction for 3.222222 is 3 whole number 2 over 9. You can verify this with your calculator. Just punch this on the calculator and you see that it will give you this as your answer. Now let's look at the second one. The second one too, we have 0.431431. Because of these 3 dots that we see there, it means the 431 repeats itself. Just like this one, the 2 repeats itself. This one too, 431, 431, 431, forever and ever. So for us to get the common fraction for this, we are going to say let R be equal to the decimal that we were given. We were given 0.431, 3 points. Now when you look at the numbers after the decimal point, the numbers that keep on repeating itself are 431, 431. So the numbers that repeat itself, they are the numbers we are supposed to bring them at the whole number position. So when you look at this, 431, 431, the next 3 numbers is going to be 431. So we are going to bring the 431 at the whole numbers position. So 431, point 431, 431. Why 431, 431? Because the 431 repeats itself continuously, forever. So when you look at this 431, we are not going to say 10, because the place value of the last number is not 10. It's what? 10, 100, 1,000. The place value of this one is 1,000. So we are going to say 1,000R is equal to this. Then you just subtract the huge number, the smaller number, from the huge number. What are we going to get? So 1,000R minus R is equal to 431.431 minus 0.431431. If you subtract 1 from 1,000, we are going to get 999R. Is equal to, if you subtract this digit from this digit, we are going to get this as our answer. Because 1 minus 1 is 0, 3 minus 3 is 0, in that order. When you get to the whole number column, you are going to get 431 minus 0, which is this. Now what do? Divide both sides by what we do not need, which is 999. 999. So R is therefore equal to 431 all over 999. Now with this, there is no number that can go here and also go that. So we are going to leave our answer like that. So the common fraction for this recurring decimal is 431 over 99. It is recurring because it is point. You can see that 431, 431. So 431,999. That will be our answer. So let's try more questions. You should go and solve more questions on this one. And that is all for the recurring decimals. Now let's look at the opposite of the changing to common, which is changing common fractions to decimals. So now they've given us the common fraction and we have to change it into decimals. Now to do this, simply use the long division approach, and that one will give you the answer straightforward. So with this one, we have our numerator, we have our denominator. And in class 6, we were taught how to do long division. If you've forgotten, don't worry, let's remind ourselves here. So in long division, we bring the denominator out of the square root, then we put the numerator in the square root. Now when you look at this, ask yourself, can 5 go into 2? No, 5 cannot go into 2. So because 5 cannot divide 2, we are going to bring points on the division root. When you bring the point, then we can therefore bring 0 at the back of the 2, which will give us 20. Then we ask ourselves, can 5 now go into 20? Yes. How many times? So you recite 5 times what is going to give you 20. And we'll be able to say 5 times 4 is 20. Now, because we brought the point here, we have to bring 0 in front of the point. So it means 20 minus 20 is going to give us dash. So the decimals, or the decimal fraction for 2 over 5 is equal to 0.4 for short. So the decimal for this is that. Let's look at the number 2. Number 2, we have 5 over 8. It's a common fraction. Change it into decimals. Use the long division approach. The numerator is 5 and the denominator is 8. So the denominator is outside. So denominator, then I have the numerator inside. Again, let's ask ourselves, can 8 go or divide 5? No. So what do? Bring point. Immediately you bring point, you can bring 0 in front of it. So because we brought the point here, we can bring 0 in front, at the back, of 5, which is going to give us 50. Then we ask ourselves, can 8 now go into 50? To know the exact number, ask yourself, 8 times what will give me something closer or exactly 50? So 8, when you recite your 8 times table, 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is what? 48. So it means 8 will go into 50 6 times. And 6 times 8 times 6 is 48. Now you subtract 48 from 50, we are going to get 2. Now because 8 cannot still go into 2, we just bring 0 here. Now this time, don't bring point here. Why? Because we have already brought a decimal point there. Then we ask ourselves, 8 will go into 20 how many times? 8 times 2 is 16. So 8 to 16. If you subtract 16 from 20, we are going to get 4. 8 again cannot go into this one, so we are going to bring 0 here. 8 times 5 will give us 40. So 8 times 5 is 40. If you subtract, we are going to get dash or minus. So the decimals for 5 over 8 is going to be 0.625 as my answer. Then we come to this place too. You have 3 over 25. Also use the long division. So we are going to say 25 out, 3 in. So 25 cannot go into 3. So I'll bring my 0 point. Bringing the 0 point, I have the right to bring another 0 here. So ask yourself, 25 will go into 30. Now how many times? Once. 25 times 1 is going to give us 25. If you do your subtraction, we are going to have 5. Can 25 now go into 5? No, it can't. So because of the decimal point, we bring another 0 here. Then we say 25 can now go into 50 2 times. So 25 times 2 is 50. Therefore, the decimals for this is 0.12. Remember, the numbers after the decimal point are being mentioned one after the other. Then the last one, 5 out, 4 in. Can 5 go into 4 or can 5 divide 4? No. This is called impublicant. That means it can't be possible. So because it can't be possible, we say 0 point. Because of the 0 point, we have the right to bring 0 in front of the 4, which will give us 40. Sorry, behind. Which will give us 40. Now, can 5 go into 40? Yes, because 5 times 8 is 40. So the decimal for this is 0.8. So this becomes the decimal for the fraction 4/5. We apologize for making the board quite compressed, but I hope if we are getting the idea of changing decimals into common fraction and common fraction into decimal. So this is what we are to do when we are being asked to change from decimals to the common and common to decimals. Now let's look at the last one. Comparing and ordering of decimals. To compare, we use the less than, just as we talked about it the last time in integers. So we know what comparing means. You are using less than, greater than, comparing less than, greater than, or equal to. Then the ordering is about ascending or descending. Now, when you look at this, how can I know that one decimal is greater than the other? If one decimal is having a whole number which is 0, it means it is less. But the one having a whole number which is not 0 is greater. So when you look at this number, I have 4 points. When you look at this place, I have 0 points. The whole number part is 0. And this whole number part is 4. Because 4 is greater than 0, this decimal is also greater than the other decimal. And we were told that greater than is this direction and less than is this direction. So this is greater than this. What you just do is just look at the whole numbers. If they are all 0 points, then you move to the next one. If this one is greater than, you use it in that order to compare. Now the number 2 is very confusing. Now you have 0.32 and 2/5. How can I therefore know if this is greater than this? Simply change this one into decimals. So if I want to change this into decimals, 5 will come out, 2 will go in. So 5 cannot divide 2, so I'll say 0.0. Now 5 times what? Will give me 20. 5, 4. So the decimal for this is 0.4. Now I can compare 0.23 and 0.4. So if you are comparing decimals and one is in common fraction, just change the common fraction into decimals. And we were taught how to do that thing when we were talking about the changing common fractions into decimals. So if you are being able to change this one into decimal, now you can compare decimal to decimal. So when you look at this one, the whole number parts are all 0. 0, 0. Okay, let's move to the decimal position. We have 3 here, we have 4 here. You all bear witness that 4 is greater than this and 3 is lesser than this. So because the first number is less, we are going to say 0.32 is less than 0.4. That is it. Then number 3, you have 1.001 and 1.010. Now let's do the comparison. Always start from your right, the first number here. So the whole number here we have 1, whole number here we have 1. They are common, they are equal. So move to the next number. Okay, the next number, that's the first decimal, we have 0 here, we have 0 here. Okay, let's move to the next one. The next one, we have 0 here, but we have 1 here, so they are not the same. So because 0 is less than 1, we are going to say this decimal is less than the other. So that is what you do for the comparison. The same idea here is what is being used in ordering. But the ordering is either in ascending order or descending. So in the integers, we gave a question on ascending. That is from the least to the highest. But in decimals, we are going to do descending, which is from the highest to the least. So look at the numbers here and try to fish out the highest. And let that one appear first. So then arrange the decimals below in descending order of magnitude. The magnitude simply means length. So let the highest come first because descending. So when you look at this, I have, okay, the whole number part, they are all 3 digits, 3 digits, 3 digits. Okay, so I want the highest. 6, 6, 5. So this is the lowest among them. So I'm going to compare these two. So this is 6, this is 6. Move to the next number. This is 5, this is 5. Move to the next number, 4, 4. My first decimal point, I have 2 here and I have 3 here. Because 3 is greater than 2, it simply means this number is the highest. So I'm going to bring that one first, which is 654.321. Remember, you don't mention the numbers after the decimal point. Now, because this is the least, it means this becomes my next number to write. Then this becomes the last digit because I am doing the arrangement in descending, highest first. Then when you come here, we are comparing, we are ordering. So look at the whole number parts. 1, 1, 1. They are equal. Okay, jump to the next one. 0, 0, 0. They are also equal. Jump to the next one. 0, 1, 0. Because this is 0, this is 1, this is 0, it makes this one the highest. So the first number to bring is 1.00. So this is out. Now I'm left with this. Let me compare and start over again to get the highest. So 1, 1, okay. 0, 0, okay. 0, 0, okay. 1, 1. So it's like this number, they are brackets. They are the same. So either you bring this one first or this one because this is the same as this. So we can say bring this one first, 0, 0, 1, 0. Then finally we can bring 0, 0, 1 first. This without the 0 is just like this. So this is it. But the highest among them is the first one. Then when you come to the last one too, 5.8, 4.084, 8.30. The highest is what? Look at the whole number part. 5, 4, 8. Which one is the highest? 8. So 8 is going to come first. So this is out. Now I have 5, 4. 5. Which one is the highest? 5. So 5.8. Then finally 4.084 as your final answer. So in descending order of magnitude, this is what we are supposed to do. Assuming we have been asked to do ascending, we just bring the last one first in that order. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying tuned. God bless you.